Hello everyone and welcome back to another must-see chess game by the legendary Paul Keres, who had the black pieces in this chess game, and his opponent is an unknown chess player named Karu, who has the white pieces. And this chess game was played in 1931, and an important detail, this was actually a correspondence chess game, so they had a lot of time to think for each move. So let's see what happened in this very exciting correspondence chess game between Paul Keres and Karu. And this chess game is actually one of my favorite chess games ever. This is a must-see. And I think we should check out this fantastic chess game from the perspective of Paul Keres. So as I said, Paul Keres had the black pieces. And this is a very interactive chess game. It is interactive because it gives you important lessons about why you should develop your pieces very quickly and why you should castle. So you will see d4 by Karu, and Keres played d5, a normal move, of course. c4, and this is the Queen's Gambit. Well, there are many replies against the Queen's Gambit. You can take and you can decline with pushing the pawn, maybe pushing the c pawn. It is going to be the Slav defense. But in this position, Paul Keres played not a very common move, not a very popular move at Grandmaster level chess in our time, especially in nowadays. So Paul Keres played e5. And what is this move? This is the Albin Countergambit. And white played uncommon, knight to c3. The most common move in this position was simply accepting the sacrifice, accepting the pawn, capturing d takes on e5 was the most played move. And in this position, what do you do here? If you take the pawn, then exchanging the queens, which is not looking so appetizing for black, because that's losing the castling rights. In this position, maybe pushing the pawn is also one of the most common moves, one of the most played moves, but Albin Countergambit is not so recommended at Grandmaster level chess. So Adolf Albin was the founder, a chess player from the late 19th century, who was the founder of this opening, Albin Countergambit, only for the records. So Paul Keres plays a little bit adventurous. Chess players like Alexander Morozovich, who is known as one of the cowboys, one of the pirates, one of the most aggressive attackers of our times, he actually sometimes played the Albin Countergambit at Grandmaster level chess, and he got away with it. So that's also for the records. Maybe we should check out more chess games of this very exciting chess player, Alexander Morozovich. So anyway, knight to c3, e takes on d4, queen takes on d4, developing the knight. And basically Paul Keres is sacrificing the pawn, queen takes on d5. But this move, even though it looks ridiculous, it is actually quite logical, because Paul Keres played bishop to e6. And would you take the queen? If you say yes, that's actually not a very good idea. In this position, Karu saw what's happening here, and he played queen to b5. If exchanging, you can see that black is far ahead in the development, and knight to b4 or knight to d4 is on the cards, and actually there is no reasonable defense, and at the same time attacking the c pawn, black is preferred in this position. So if you would defend the c pawn like this, then knight in, knight to b4, and how to defend knight, actually knight to c2. This doesn't look good, isn't it, to say the least. Okay, so anyway, we have queen to b5, and Paul Keres played another very exciting move. He played a6. He says, come on, take my b pawn and make my day, like Clint Eastwood in Dirty Harry. But not accepting the pawn sacrifice, which is some sort of opening trap by Paul Keres. If accepting, then knight to d4. How to defend? Knight to c2, checkmate actually. So queen has to go back, chasing the queen, and after queen to d3, what would you do in this position if you had the black pieces? Can you see a very nice move in this position for black? Of course, if you say bishop takes on c4, that's correct. Actually, black has a very strong position, as you can see. White queen is running around. At the same time, black is developing his pieces one by one, even though black is a pawn down. So if capturing the bishop, checkmate baby. There is no defense. So okay, not capturing the pawn, queen goes back, and then bishop to b4, pinning the knight, and also blocking the queen and attacking the pawn. So unpinning and then capturing. Bishop takes on c4. It is needless to say that who's better in this position. Of course, black is much better. White pieces are so clunky, and pushing the pawn, attacking the queen, queen goes back, and then attacking the queen again, checking the king, and at the same time the bishop is under attack. So Paul Keres played a normal move, defending the bishop, attacking the knight, defending, and then rook over. So maybe guarding this weak square. So you can see that there are some problems at the light squares. Developing the knight, and again chasing the queen, queen to b1, and then queen to d6, exchanging the knights, attacking the queen and simplifying the game, and attacking the rook. So Paul Keres castled, that was attacking the rook as well. And this is actually one of the interesting moments of the game. Actually, in this position, you can see that for an amateur, of course, who can't calculate very deeply, bishop to b4 is asking to be played, because if bishop to b4, the bishop is being protected by the a pawn, and also x-raying the bishop on e7, the queen is also attacking, but we have bishop to f4. Let me show you what happens if bishop to b4, which is very interesting. What would you do in this position if you had the black pieces? Actually, queen to h6 is a very good move, because there is no time for capturing the bishop. You can take the rook, and that's checkmate. So in this position, actually the computer chess engine told me that queen takes on b4 is much stronger. So if a takes on b4, then bishop takes on b4, and where is the king going? Blocking with the rook doesn't look very good. We can simply take, and it's just falling apart. So if moving the king, then checking the king, only defense, and then, I mean, this looks awful for white. It's awful, it's disgusting. Okay, interesting, isn't it? Did you consider sacrificing the queen? Anyway, so castling, and that's why we have bishop to f4, defending, also defending the bishop, simply defending the d pawn. And you can see that now this is the interesting moment of the game. After queen to f3, let's pause for a second. Maybe in this position rook to e1 was also possible, so this is why queen goes back. Let's check out this position. Now you can see that not pushing the e pawn, not pushing the g pawn, and liberating the bishop and castling. So this is a fatal mistake for white. The king is still in the center. All of the pieces of Paul Keres is doing something. They are busy. And on the other hand, white king is at the center. The rooks are not connected. This is a terrible position for white. So centralizing the rook, a very natural move by Paul Keres, aiming the king, and b3. Now, in this position, Paul Keres made an important decision. Well, he decided to sacrifice the bishop, which is risky, but he is a deep thinker, of course. The e-pawn is pinned, you can take. So exploiting the weakness, and we have e4. And let's see what happens very quickly. What happens if capturing the bishop, then capturing back, and you can see that black has two connected pawns. The e-pawn is pinned, bishop is coming. If defending with the bishop, pawn, we can push the pawn, the c pawn, and that looks awful. That looks like a great tragedy for white. And actually, after bishop check, if bishop goes back, let's check out. Sorry, it's black's move, white's move, sorry. Of course, let's make a random move. Then we can check. Bishop goes back, take, and then rook to b8 looks very dangerous, as you can see. Also, we have the dark square. It was a pretty deep move actually, and obviously in this position, if going back with the bishop, we can push the pawn, and this also looks awful, terrible. Okay, so these are some of the few ideas, and this is why Paul Keres made an important decision and he decided to sacrifice his bishop. But we have e4 and check, bishop back, and queen to d4 by Paul Keres, attacking the e-pawn. This is the main threat. So capturing, also making room for the king, capturing, only defense actually, and then what would you do in this position? It is black to move and win. If I give you a few seconds, can you guess the next move of Paul Keres? Actually, let me give you a little tip. He checkmated his opponent in great fashion. Okay, if you are ready, let me show you the move. Rook takes on e4, a bone crusher, a smashing move by Paul Keres. And what else? Capturing the rook, but this is basically deflecting the queen, separating the queen from the defense. So checking the king and only defense, and then came. Did you see the move? Did you see it? The move is this amazing move, pushing the pawn, check, mate. Unbelievable. Well, basically the rook is pinned, the king can't escape because of the bishop, check, mate. Wow, what a game. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed watching this chess game and I hope to see you next time. Take care and bye bye.